Well, greetings, visitors to the Paper Prison. It is I, your host, the Comics Prisoner. And I want to thank you for visiting me on visiting day here in the middle of your Christmas holiday shopping. I know everyone's very busy, and I hope everyone's going to have a great holiday season. But now we're here, and you're visiting me. Thank you. So we're going to continue in our little series within a series. The series being looking at Xeroxes of pencils that I accumulated while I was working as an inker in New York in the early 90s. But the series within this series is looking at the Xeroxes I got from the Superman office by way of Mike Carlin, pencils of three different Superman artists. And we're at the third and last one, Mr. Jon Bogdonave. Now, I'm going to give it to you straight. When I first saw these pencils, I was a little nonplussed. I was like, I didn't think they should have been in the same caliber as the other two artists that he gave me, Dan Jurgens and Tom Grummett. I think it's because the first one I saw, and it was out of order, was this Daily Planet scene with Clark and Lois. And while I thought, I made my living being a caricaturist for a long time, and I see a lot of great caricaturing, a lot of great facial drawing in here. But after that, the entire rest of the office looked pretty breakdowny, and you're probably saying, well, wait a second, you love Dan Jurgens' layouts. In that first example, I mean, the finish on Jurgens' work and the finish here are practically identical. True, but on this particular page, it looks like a lot of shorthand is being used. It isn't as inkable as Jurgens' stuff was. Um, Specifically, when I look at like Clark's, well, there's really only one really good picture of Clark's uh, face, and it's in the second tier top right. And I'm saying, oh, it just looks like he's doing like shorthand for the Fleischer Brothers animated features. Um, I do like the two black leads, the black woman and the black man. They are nicely drawn, actually quite well drawn. Lois is so stylized, she's almost unattractive though. But the thing that gets me, aside from inker Dennis Rodier, is really going to have to pull those backgrounds together. I'm looking at in the top tier Lois's figure, which is nicely drawn, but boy, that right hand is really faked. I mean, he is really going to have to make that work. Uh, but on the other side, look to the top tier, far right, that fellow on the phone, the archaic 90s phone, that hand looks a lot like a Walt Simonson hand, doesn't it? And because of that, I find it quite charming. Now, I think the storytelling is clear. He's got that going for us. But again, I think maybe this is the one where he was a little fatigued. Maybe he was overwhelmed doing that office perspective drawing. I don't know. But that was the first one I saw, and I was like really not impressed. Now let's put all these pages, and there's like 8 pages here that I got of this. Okay, yeah, 8. So let's look at these pages in sequence, and I get a whole different opinion of Mr. Bogdanove's work. I look at that first top panel on the left. That's a great composition of a truck driving out of a mountain encrusted fortress, or top secret FBI installation. Except, of course, the backgrounds, those trees are so faked. Oh God, I love you, Dennis Rodier, or Rodier. You had your work cut out for you there. But then you get to the middle panel, top tier, and those are great faces. Again, I made my bones being a caricaturist. I've drawn literally thousands and thousands of faces. And I said, oh, that's pretty cool. Then we get to the broken part of Brainiac's body. I'm assuming that's, or maybe that's Metallo. And I'm thinking, well, that's really nice. He faked the bottom rope, but not so much where Rodier has to do too much work. And then we have the middle tier and something zipping by, and the drivers are reacting. Now, in that insert on the bottom tier, I think those faces are really great. Um, and that hand is stylized or expressive without being distorted. That hand on the door window. And then we have a pretty, you know, pretty pedestrian shot in the bottom of a, again, Rodier is going to have to pull that truck together. Those doors, I mean, everything, Now the character running off with Metallo or Brainiac's head, that's great. But again, I made my bones inking backgrounds for people, and I go, oh boy, that's a lot of work. Okay, so we have the second page, which is page 11 of Man of Steel number 12, and this is really great. We're now playing to apparently Bogdanove's strengths. We're getting to a lot of characters that he can cartoon, and there's going to be a lot of caricature in them. The top panel is a serviceable going down a tunnel with dramatic lighting, which again Rodier is going to have to make sense of. Then they go to like a bottom of a, and again I always think at this point DC was trying to steal some Marvel magic. So let's face it, we're going to Subterranea, and then there's a subterranean, I think either explorer ship on the bottom or tunneler, some kind of high tech spelunking machine. But we have some great DN. I think these are DN aliens from the mind of Jack Kirby, or cousins of them. Um, Again, thinly drawn, but it's got the charm that wasn't in that first page I looked at. So we'll turn the page, and okay, it's 11 to 12, so there is no gap. And apparently, who's ever probably running that excavator as seeing, I think this Professor Hamilton, uh, and is saying, "Oh, intruders, trespassers," and fires on him. And I think I really love his drawing of Professor Hamilton. The body, it's got a lot of life to it. Yes, it's stylized, but as I said, without being distorted. A lot of understanding of drapery and folds in a trench coat or lab coat. Again, he falls down, great force in the middle panel, sorry. He falls down, great foreshortening on that hand. Again, the technology is really faked. Oh, poor Dennis Rodier. Okay, so then we have in the fourth panel in the middle tier, this I think this character existed, or this is not just a throwaway character, this is a continuing character, some kind of like insect guy, and either he turns off something and maybe stops the weaponry. Okay, bottom panel, left, god damn it, bottom tier left panel, and we have a wonderful drawing of Professor Hamilton holding something that who knows what that is. In the background, it's all just shorthanded and suggested also. But he throws, I guess these are like gun belts or weapons belts of some kind, and he throws them to the other DN aliens, and they're putting them on. They're strapping. They're packed now. Wonderful alien designs or mutant designs. They are DN aliens. So okay, so we're going to page 12, no, page 13 of issue 12 of Man of Steel, and this top tier left panel, we have our DN aliens, and they're strapping on those gun belts. They're packing now, and I love these aliens. They're just as thinly drawn as the Dan Jurgens stuff, but they're fun. I think they inspired the inker to jump in there, and as opposed to just having to finish what the penciler didn't finish. And that guy in that panel on the far left, he looks like he came out of Rocky Horror, which is just great. So anyway, they're all packing or got something on. And in the panel 2 on the top tier, we have Professor Hamilton. He's turning on, and now that I look at that, it looks more like a Brainiac 5 force field belt. Maybe they've all got force fields on, hopefully, because on in tier 2, panel 1, I guess that same other mutant alien is going to fire. Oh, by the way, that's a nice hand being drawn going for the microphone. Okay, tier 2, panel 4. That's a great shot of a body being flung. A little unusual, not your typical Sal Buscema, John Buscema, punch figure. But apparently, I guess the force field belt protected him because on the bottom panel, tier 3, Hamilton's just fine, and he's talking on the microphone. Is he like calling for help? Is he rousing the other mutants to rebellion? And the Rocky Horror Picture Show guy on the far right there, even though he appears to be part of Hamilton's crew, he seems a little scared about that. So on storytelling, I give it definitely a B plus A minus. Drawing of Hamilton and the DNA aliens, you know, B plus. So let's turn the page, and then we go to, in sequence, this is page 14 of issue 12. This is the page we've already kind of gone over. I'm not going to go over that again. I've already told you why I think this is kind of weak for me. But the other pages so far have been really great. So let's turn the page. We go back to Hamilton's. On page 15, we go back to Hamilton's predicament. That big armadillo guy is moving in on him in panel 1, top tier. And interesting, it looks like he's moving in on Hamilton, but he grabs in panel 2 the Rocky Horror Picture guy. Okay, since there's no word balloons here and it's totally out of context, I don't know what's going on. I'm not gonna judge it. Okay, so maybe Hamilton called up Giganto in the bottom panel. And again, we have all these nice suggestions of cool aliens and suggestions of stalactites and suggestions of backgrounds and kind of nice drawn, spelunker machine. It's all very exciting, but God, the inker's got to make sense of this. Turning the page 16. Top tier panel 1. It looks like these DNA aliens are like shooting at Giganto, and Giganto and Hamilton is taking a powder, as they used to say. He's blowing this popsicle stand. Did he succeed in what he wanted to do on this mission, or did it just screw up and he's just escaping? Anyway, in the bottom, what's left of this page, it looks like Giganto is like taking off too. He's leaving town too. And I think there is a like snake-like DNA alien in the foreground. Yeah, because it has arms. Hamilton should be dead from what I'm seeing there, unless his force field belt is blunting the impact. So we go to page 17. And top tier panel 1, the DNA aliens are trying to get out of the crater left by a Giganto. And Professor Hamilton, the aliens, and Rocky Horror Picture Guy are looking down going, oh my God, what happened? So in the bottom, really kind of almost the totality of the page, because those other panels are inserts, Giganto's coming up, knocking around cars, making people run. Superman's coming through with a great, even though I think it's barely there, I think it's a great drawing of either a Wayne Boring Superman jumping or the Fleischer Brothers Superman flying, jumping. There's so much here to be excited by or to like. And if it was just finished. It's like he's doing the old cheat of doing just enough where your mind pulls up the slack and fills in the gaps. And it looks great in your head. But this can't be printed till it's inked, and the inker has to make decisions. So what you are seeing is not what's going to print. It's what Rodier. It's either Rodier. So sorry. And we'll just see. Again, maybe we should all pick up Man of Steel number 12 from 1994, and look through these. So, despite my quite critical assessment of this, I think this was a great sampling of what the Superman office was buying around 1994. And I'm glad that there's a range. I mean, it's not like a Marvel style where every guy had to be drawing like Jon Bogdonave. These are different expressions, but they understand Superman enough that it can work together. It can still all work together. I would love to ink the faces in this because they're together enough that it wouldn't just be labor, just hard labor. 20 years of hard labor. So, well, I've done these things for a while, and I'm probably certain I've forgotten some things I wanted to say in this analysis of this work. And I'm the first to say, if anyone wants to say, you're not qualified to, criticize Jon Bogdonave, and I'd be guilty. I'm probably not. I haven't had the career he's had. All I'm saying is what I like, and if you like it, and I'm sure a lot of people did, that's great. I'm glad you got entertained by it. And I think I would have gotten entertained by the final finished art and the writing. But at this level, it's like all I can feel is exhaustion just looking at it, knowing, okay, how would I interpret all these squiggles? And, oh well. Okay, well, this ends the series within a series. Next week, we'll have pencils by, if I remember correctly, Bart Sears. And I think that's going to be a very interesting analysis because no one is going to be as far afield from all the other examples as Bart Sears. He has his fans, and I think they're going to love it. And then we'll get like a nice break from this kind of expression to a very personal expression. And I've been enjoying doing this. I'm sure I'm supposed to say, please, if you like this, please consider sharing with people and liking it and maybe subscribing. And again, we're coming up on the Christmas season, and I know everyone's busy. I know I am. I'm going to try. I try to make sure these come out weekly still. And I hope everyone has a great Christmas or holiday or whatever you practice or observe. And let's look forward to 2026. Is that where we're at? Yeah, 2026. And let's all keep reading comics because it's the original American art form. And some other things I'd like to say about it, but I'll save that for another show about why I think comics art is really unique and really valuable and really worth it. All right, so I guess I got to go back into solitary confinement. Y'all can leave and go back to your lives. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.